Hello and very welcome to a new session of the Parenting Connection. Today we're going to talk about play. What is play? Because not everything that looks like play is actually play. And invitations to play, which is like a magic potion for your children to get them to play and get them engaged and interacting and learning and having fun. We will go through 4 different stages throughout our session. We have information for you, we have a strategist and a plan and things to do, and we have your parenting toolkit and your next action. So, what is play? Play is anything that brings us joy, and play is anything that's our own choice. So, if we have a box with blocks and we tell our children, you have to build something with this, and they're like, but I want to go play outside. No, you have to build something with this and then we can go play outside, and then they do it. That's not play. But if you leave a box with blocks on the floor, maybe in the middle of the kitchen, and they'll come in and they'll wonder, oh, what's in here? And then they'll get curious and they start investigating, and then they pick up the blocks and they start building. It brings them joy, it makes them feel happy, and it's also their choice. They decided that they wanted to play with those blocks. That is play. And that can be with anything. Homework could be play as well if it was the child's choice and if it was bringing them joy. Maybe there is a specific homework they really love doing and it brings them joy because they're so good at it, and it brings them, it's that satisfaction. I can do it, I feel proud of myself, it brings me joy, and also it's my choice because I feel so good. And we'll talk about motivation another time, but it makes me feel good. It's my intrinsic motivation. It comes from inside me because it makes me feel good. So I want to do it. It is my choice. So that is play. And play, we all play. It's an inner child. We need to keep our inner child happy. And we all play at all ages. Anything that you do that brings you joy and that is your choice, that is play for you as an adult as well. For example, when you cook dinner, it's not the same cooking dinner because everybody's hungry and starving and angry and stressed, and it's a day and you just back from work and all the kids are hungry and there's nearly nothing in the fridge and everyone is stressed out and you have to cook. It doesn't bring us joy. It certainly doesn't, and it is not our choice. We don't really have a choice in that case. But if you get your time for cooking and mixing new ingredients, trying out a new recipe, playing music in the background, trying a new cake or anything like that, or even with or without the kids, that is play. It brings you joy, and it is your choice to do that. So that's the difference between play and no play. I have to do it. And it's about creating opportunities where we get kids to play as much as possible, to do things that bring them joy, makes them happy, and that they have a choice. And it's a way of communication. Children communicate through play. They don't need words. They don't need to know exactly what goes on in their brain. They just communicate, and they might smash a toy on the floor, or they might start drawing a paper and they feel frustrated and they make a ball and throw it, and they might come up with very genius ideas as they do when they play and when they get into that creative brain space. But they communicate through play. Whatever emotions go on that day, they're communicating through play, and that's why providing that safe space for them to play, it allows them to express their emotions without even needing the words for them, without even having to understand them. It's as they communicate them, we can observe them. We can learn how they feel just by looking at them, and then they can release those emotions, whether if they're excited or angry or frustrated, and then that will open up conversations that we can have with our children through play. So for example, if they finish school and they come in and, how was your day? What did you do? What did you play? Who did you play with? What did you do? What did you learn today? It's very overwhelming. But if you provide, and we'll go now to our invitations to play, if you provide a little invitation to play and give them that space to calm down, to relax, to enjoy, to connect with themselves and their environment, and then with you, that's when those conversations will flow.
An invitation to play is a strategy used in the early years where the adult creates a thoughtfully arranged environment with materials and activities that encourage children to explore, create, and engage in independent play. An invitation to play triggers children's curiosity, so they want to play. It's their choice. Invitations to play only have 2 rules. The first one, safety and boundaries. It's important that we choose appropriate materials and keep children safe. Second one, there are no instructions. There is no right or wrong on how children use those toys, prompts, or resources, as long as it's safe and within our boundaries. If they need something, they'll go and get it. That's their problem-solving skills. If they need you, they'll tell you. That's their communication. If they feel different emotions, they'll express it through play. That's their well-being. So much happens when children play freely in a prepared environment.
Now, so that is an invitation to play. Now, let's see, how do we set up an invitation to play? So here I have a few examples. The first one is simply we went for a walk, nature walk. We picked up some flowers and then we created some art. So they were peeling all the different petals and creating their own flowers on paper, just glue, scissors, glue, sticks, and then they added some other coloring things on the pages. So that's an invitation to play. So that could be two activities. One is going on a nature hunt, and then the second one would be to do their flower art and then play. And as they play with the flowers, they're developing fine motor skills, which is their control of their hands, which is going to help them then to ride, zip and their clothing and tie their shoes and buttons and pick up their fork and eat and all these things that you need your hands for. This is going to really help them develop those fine motor skills and creativity, problem solving, and imagination, which is the key skill to allow them to think outside the box and be creative. The second one, we have tracing shadows. So it's basically just a roll of paper on the floor, colors, and any objects you want placed on the paper. And then because it was sunny, you could see the shadows, and then they just traced the shadows with the markers. And again, it's an invitation to play. As you saw in that video, there are no instructions. So it's just a starter. It's a prompt that will get them started in doing something, and then they'll come up with the rest. The third one is ice rescue. So it's basically I took a bowl, put some figures in it, added some water, and froze it over maybe 2 or 3 days. And then you just put it on a tray, tough tray or anywhere. Tough trays are great because they have the sides that they hold everything, all the mess inside, which is great. And then just added more warm water, drop per spoons, a little toy hammer, maybe they can smash the ice. They love that, and then try to rescue all the animals and then play with them. And it's a very calming activity, which helps also for their self-regulation, which is the ability to connect back with themselves and relax their nervous system. And the last one is just vegetables and soils. Got a bag of compost from Lidl. Threw in some carrots, and they were chopping the carrots and hiding them, and then they went off and added little animals. So as you again saw on that video, as they get stuck in, they'll come up with new ideas, and then they'll go and solve their problems and add more into it. If you have a big tray and set it all up really nicely, those really Instagram good looking trays, that's not going to work because you've already done all the work for them. There's nothing else there for them to do. So literally, if you have a tray or a space or a table or outdoors and have a bucket with random items in the box and just leave it there and get them to get curious. Curiosity is the most amazing thing because it will get them, that's the push they need to want to know more and investigate and create from it. Now, what goes on each one of these invitations to play? The first one is figures, so anything from animals, characters, anything that they can create a story with. So if you have little people, as you can see, the flowers are, so the flowers are going to create a little story with the flowers. It's just the one thing that leads the story, leads the activity. Then we have the animals or the blocks, and then we have the ocean animals in the last one, in the third one, and then the carrots. So it could be anything. It's like the connector between the child and the story, something there for them to do. And then we have all the props around it. We have containers. They love putting things inside containers. And then we have a sensory base, and then we have tools. So we'll go through each one of them now. Not every invitation to play needs all of this. As you saw, the flowers, they don't have containers, but it would be nice to add some containers, and they could play with the petals and make like magic potions and put them inside and add little characters as well. So you could bring this to a whole other level by adding these items. Figures, as you can see, animals, people, cars, any characters from their favorite cartoons, teddies, dolls, anything like that. container, you could use bowls, cups, or boxes, or anything that's around the house where they can store things inside. And then we have sensory base. That list is very long. Play-Doh, anything that's in your kitchen cupboard, rice, pasta, oats, soil, water, paint. Blocks will work as a sensory base as well if you have lots of blocks, and any construction items would go here as well. They're amazing. Construction is absolutely brilliant in so many ways, but we'll learn more about construction and so all the different things you can do for constructions and how it helps us develop different pathways in our brain as well, and thinking skills. And then tools, any fine motor tools, again, to help with those with hand control and skills. So spoons, droppers, nets for fishing, sponges for washing. You could add one, maybe soapy water and farm animals, and then they can wash them with the sponges. Scopes, tongues, pick them up, and again develop that grasp and a lot of strength in their arm as well as they do that. So that's just one more thing for you to do, which is take action. Because you can know all about invitations to play, but if we don't create one, it doesn't mean anything. So I want you to have fun, not just to create an invitation to play, but to have fun creating it. To get that, I get a lot of adults saying, I'm not creative. And that's just telling your brain, that's setting expectations for your brain to confirm that it doesn't matter what you do, you're not creative. So it's about switching that. If you watch the video about parenting guilt, we have this template on how to switch from negative thinking to positive affirmations. So that's the one thing you need to do. Yes, I can do this, I'm going to enjoy it, and my child is going to absolutely love it. And that positive attitude is going to be set your activity for success. Absolutely. And it might take practice. If the child's not used to that type of creative play, it might take practice and again and again and again until they get used to it. You'll see how it helps them in so many different areas of their development. But this is my call to action. Change that mindset. You are creative. You're going to have fun creating this activity for your child. Keep it really, really, really simple, because simple always works best. Do something that feels comfortable for you. If it's too messy and you feel very overwhelmed because it's too messy and they're going to create, don't start messy. You don't need to start messy. Put a few blocks together, put a few carrots together, put a few characters together and a couple of bowls and see what happens. And maybe a marker, and they can draw a little face on the carrots, and that could be their character. So get creative, put a few random things together, and just watch.